by my even more beautiful property sister, Barbara Legg.
Hi,
And
everybody. Good morning. I'm coming at you from San Diego. So we are the Property Sisters coast to coast.
yeah. And we're just coming off of a real high this morning. We were asked by Russ Langan, who does the introduction to all of the leadership meetings in EXP world. He asked us if we would come on this morning and talk about mindset and gratitude. And we said, that is right up our alley. Of course we will. So we got, we were in this backstage thing and the green room and the whatever and blue room, wherever the heck we were. And just we're on the leadership meeting talking about mindset and gratitude. And it was really, really great. So I think we're super fired up
We are
to
ready.
be here this morning and share. And again, thank you so much for your time. We know it's valuable. We hope that we're going to bring some value to you this morning as well. We really wanted to, almost everything we do, we try to want to start doing it ourselves. So we say, oh, good, let's share it with our teams and let's share it with our community. So we both were starting to work on our business planning for next year and start to talk about, instead of jumping right into a plan, what needs to happen? What needs to happen to get ready for that? Like how most of us do not have a disciplined process of real estate business planning and then monthly accountability and readjusting your plan and checking it the next month and readjusting your plan. Unless you're paying an exorbitant amount of money for a coach every month, then you're more likely to do that. But again, that's the accountability built in, right? Most of us, I'll speak for myself, I certainly have never stuck with that and always looking for continued look for ways to kind of improve that. So we thought we'd put together a little presentation and some resources and then really open it up because we don't have all of the ideas. We'd love to hear what other people have done, what's worked, and importantly as well, what hasn't worked.
Right.
Let's make sure that we, can get some of that as well. Right, Barbara?
Yeah, and between Lisa and I, we both really have so many resources that we just love to share with everybody. And take what you like, try to use it, see if it's going to be working for you. And if it doesn't, try something else, but we think that we've come up with some really good tools that everybody can use to get started on your business plan for next year
Yep.
so that we all can have a very successful 2023 because there's a lot of chaos going on right now. The market's shifting, everything is kind of crazy. Lisa and I were talking earlier that it's so important to start your business plan now. I know that when I first got into real estate, I kept thinking, January's like, I have time. It's weeks away, but then you blink and January's here and you don't have your plan. So it's super important to get your plan started now so that you can make some adjustments.
Yep. And take the time, as you said. So let me go to my presentation. We're probably gonna I'm going to come back and forth a little bit because I want to be able to spend some time really talking. Just to be super clear, this is a business plan clinic, not planning clinic. Most planning clinics you'll see are 3 to 4 hours long, and that's even a minimum. But we wanted to, again, do kind of an overview. So this is, the introduction. And I love this quote: to plan for what's difficult while it's easy and to do what's great while it's small. So that's another indication that now, is a good time because we have a little bit of time before the holiday crunch and before the new year starts. And even though it seems like an artificial kind of starting line, it's hugely impactful if you allow it to be, right?
Yep.
So here's what we're going to be going over today. We're going to kind of give you an overview. We're going to talk about gathering. We're going to talk about analyzing. We're going to talk about goal setting, which is, big piece of this. We've got a great business plan calendar that Barbara uses and is going to show us. And then we've got a folder of resources that we're going to give you access to use all kinds of business plans, to use what you will. Did this again last year as well. So some of them are just 23 updates to ones that were there last year for sure. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is one of the documents that's in there is called the Power of Momentum, and it's a Tony Robbins process and document. Anyone who knows me knows that I find enormous inspiration from Tony Robbins in many ways. Whether you love him or hate him or not sure how you feel about him, I am inspired daily by things that he does and says. So I love this quote as well. To kind of, you need to create your own vision. And it's important that you look at where you've been and where you are now and let that, shape your vision for what you believe. So Tony gives 7 steps in this momentum document, which you guys will have access to. And we're going to kind of go through these as these are, they're still woven in, like none of this is totally original thought, right? But these 7 areas are woven into what we're doing today. Mm-hmm. And, getting clear, getting certain, we're going to spend a good amount of time on that. How to get excited to make sure that these things are really important to you. And then the focus, commitment, and the massive action. So hopefully you guys will be able to hold on to this and use this as a structure for your planning process, because it is really hugely effective. So looking back, reflecting, getting clear. Barbara, why don't you share a little bit about this? We were talking about this morning with Russ, actually.
Yeah, we were, because it is so important to look back and reflect. So, here we are, November. Take a look back at this year. What worked? What worked for you? What didn't work? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? And what was magical? And really take time to answer these questions. Like this isn't just a 5-minute, boom, it's done. It's really take a look back at what you did in your business, what worked, what didn't work, and how you would like to make it different for next year.
Yeah, and also, I think that one of those important things that you just said was, to take some time, take a breath. This is when you can do it. Really give yourself the gift of saying, in this past 12 months, what did I really love? Mm-hmm. In this past 12 months, what was extraordinary and unexpected? And I think sometimes we know what we didn't like. We know, like in this past 12 months, what was really uncomfortable, what didn't work, what did I try and didn't work out as I thought it would. And this isn't only in business. When you're doing some of this brainstorming and goal setting initially, just let yourself brainstorm. Don't judge it. Just write down everything you can possibly think of, because I think I know a pattern will emerge and answers will emerge for you, for sure. Also, yes. What were your accomplishments? Go ahead.
Sometimes you have to do that brain dump, right? Mm-hmm. Where you just do free writing and just let it go, just let it rip, and don't censor what you're writing. Just go.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, some of those other questions, and they're in the Power of Momentum piece, but, what are some of the things that you felt really proud about accomplishing? And what were those things that are kind of gaping, staring at you, looking at you, going, hey, how come you didn't do this? Be honest. No one else is there. Be honest with yourself. Write down that stuff, because this is what, we shouldn't regret the past or shut the door on it. We need to take a look at all of that and really give it its due and thank it for all of the things it taught us. And then bring all that into, where we are right now, in the present moment, for sure.
And I'm just going to reiterate too, it doesn't necessarily have to be business related. When you're looking back at what worked, sometimes you have to step out of that business mode. Maybe something magical was in your personal life. Maybe it came from someplace else, but that's a great place to start, because then that gets you in that mode, that gets that positive energy moving, right? So it could have been something else. So don't think about, oh, well, this year wasn't really very good because the market shifted and then you're going down that rabbit hole. We don't want you to do that. So, always look for what was magical, what worked really, really well. And it could have been in another area of your life.
Yeah. And maybe you take a couple columns. Maybe you do business and you do personal and you do health and spiritual. Maybe you break it apart so that you can separate some of those things that felt like they were working and things that felt like they weren't working. So the next part, let me just the one part that I want to make sure we talk about here also is kind of that idea of getting certain, which is the second step in what Tony talks about. And what, to me, the importance of getting certain, getting to this next part, is think back on a time last year when you really surprised yourself and you accomplished something amazing that you didn't think you were going to even accomplish. And there's got to be something. It could be big or small. It could be you got your broker's license, or it could be you finally were able to get your car detailed. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of, like, it doesn't have to be something like so earth shattering, but something that happened in your life that you were able to accomplish that was unexpected that you weren't necessarily planning. How did that happen? What was it about you? What was it about the situation? What drove you? What was feeding you? What was, was it a carrot? Was it a stick? Everyone's got something different that motivates them, and probably different things that motivates them at different times, right? But look back on that, because that will remember that you did accomplish something and you have those abilities, and you can take that momentum forward also, knowing that you can do hard things, you can do big things. Thank yourself for that. Remember those things, get into that feeling, and let that take you into the next part of the planning process. So gather.
What are we gathering? There's all kinds of things that you get to gather. What do you need?
So there's all the number stuff. Go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah. You need to know your numbers. So, and now we are kind of talking business right now. So you need to know your numbers. What was the GCI, your gross commission income? You need to have all this information. The expenses, how much did you have to pay in your business? And that's everything. So that, take a look at the fees that you've had to pay to NAR, here in California Association of Realtors, your board dues, write all that down. If you're doing any kind of marketing, how much did you pay on marketing? So you need to know how much you're spending on your business. Okay. And then you also want to take a look at, where did your business come from? So take a look at your past transactions and find out, you really should know, where is your business coming from? 99% of my business comes from referral. It's, I work my database and so, but, a lot of people get their business from, online leads or Facebook or social media. You really need to know where your business is coming from, to be able to help you, move into the next year or go into the next step. And then third is your 2023 dreams. So these are things that you're going to be gathering. The dreams part is probably my most favorite part. I'm not really a numbers person. I do know it's important, and I do know that I have to know my numbers.
Yeah, I definitely have them separate. So my transaction income, I've kept a spreadsheet over since I've been back in real estate, and I have a different tab. It's in Google, surprisingly, and I have a different tab for every year. And what I do is I have the 12 months listed on the left column. While we're talking later and I go and I stop sharing my screen, I'll go to that spreadsheet and just show it to you guys real quickly so you get an idea. It's nothing that you can't recreate if I explain how what I do. Mm-hmm. And then I put the dates of the transaction, I put the address, and I put the sale, and then I put in what was my commission? Was it 3%, 2.5%, whatever it was? And then I have monthly totals, and then I have quarterly totals, and then I have yearly totals. And I also have a column that says source. This is really important. Where did I get that lead from? Was it EXP? Was it CRS? Was it a sphere of influence? Was it realtor.com, which I did for years and made a gazillion dollars on? What was it? What was it? Because I think tracking that has helped me make so many other decisions. So I have that spreadsheet now. And then at the bottom of that spreadsheet, the bottom lower left, I have my goals for each quarter, each month, and then quarter totaled. And then it automatically fills in, right? The formula automatically fills in where I'm at. So at any given time, I can take a look in November. How close am I to that 12-month goal? How close am I to the fourth quarter goal? How far am I off? How far am I over? Like that. And it just gives me, I always have a running total of where I'm at with what I thought I was going to do. Now this year, I really looked at, thank you clients and the universe. I was able to sell a whole lot of real estate the last 2 years. And I intentionally made a decrease in what I thought my transaction amount would be, because I was, continue to hope to put more of my attention to building my sales organization versus just selling, and also being with the baby and staying married. So I was kind of like reducing that piece. And you can see that. And interestingly, the number of transactions was less than I thought, but the GCI is more. So that was just because of some great luxury transactions, and the flavor of some of the work this year. But so I have that in the lower left. Then I have another sheet that over these many years, I've kept the source. So I have the source all written down in the left-hand column: CRS, realtor.com, RRC, the same, source, a sphere of influence, like that. Everyone, yard signs. I got one once of a yard sign. I mean, open house, everything you can think of where that source came from. And then each year I have my projected and I have my actual all the way across. And I'll just tell you one interesting thing. I really do a lot of referral business. Now, of course, I've been in the business for a while, and also because I'm, pretty visible in my volunteer roles, people know, oh, Cape Cod, right? No one that doesn't know me doesn't know I live on Cape Cod. So I do get referrals from agents from all over the place. And I feel like that's the majority of my business. And so Raymar, my assistant, and I have created this really great referral program. We do an email once a month with like fun things about Cape Cod, and just, I send them gifts at Christmas. When I looked this year, that was not the majority of my business. Majority of my business was my sphere of influence, was people that I've sold homes to that told their friends or did whatever. So I could just hear Ryan Buffini screaming in the background somewhere, because that's what you're supposed to be doing, is really loving on those people, of which we have like nothing, right? All my stuff is not going there. So guess what? I'm going to make some changes for 2023 around what I'm doing. I'm going to make some changes to where I put my attention, or certainly the programs that we're looking to develop, for sure. And so I think that source, and I'm happy to share that spreadsheet. It's kind of messy looking, but I can give you a visual of what it is. Again, it's just something I built myself, and I've been adding to it, and I keep the same spreadsheet with just adding tabs for every year. And then I have that tab called source analysis. Who knows why the hell I called it that, but that's what it's called. And it's good. And when when something gets to purchase and sale, I can't wait to put it on that sheet. And I don't put it on at offer, because I've had to take too many things off from offer to purchase and sale, because we do have 2 contracts here in Massachusetts. But it's like, I love going to that sheet and adding whatever the heck it is, the transaction, and looking at that number changing and growing on the bottom. And yeah, so that's very exciting. So that's what I would say.
Actually, it kind of holds you accountable to your business plan, by having that running, tab of what's going on. So I love that idea, Lisa. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Anybody want to jump in at this point, or should we just keep going?
You can always throw things in the chat too, if you guys have any questions.
So this is what we kind of just talked about. And how would that, so Barbara, as you're starting to look at what you're doing, how is that changing what you're going to be focusing on for this year, or isn't, or it's reaffirming what you're doing?
Well, actually, like I said, most of my business comes from my database. I do a lot of just business working by referral. And when I was doing my planning calendar, which we're going to get into a little bit later, I actually had a lot of fun with it, because I was thinking about the people in my database and how I wanted to touch them, and what type of value I wanted to give back to them. So, what's going to help them with their life. I mean, it's really all about, it's not about me. It's about how can I help, the people that I'm working with. So, I already know where most of my business came from, and it's been that way for many, many years, which is why I continue to work that way. I find it enjoyable for me. I've tried to do online leads. It doesn't work for me. I don't have that same connection like I do with my referral, with my database. So where would I like to focus and expand, and, contracting your expenses? So when I was doing my planning calendar, I had to really think about, with this recession that's coming up, what can I do that's really not going to cost me a lot of money, but I'm still going to be able to touch, the people that I want to stay in touch with. So I'm really very excited about that.
Good. Yeah, I think it's, again, this is all stuff that's absolutely critical to do prior to starting to go, towards 23 for sure.
Yep.
Let's see. Oops. So let's see, did I just skip one yet? Okay.
Yes.
So the next is goal setting. We have a great process, but I want to talk a little bit about goals in general. And again, guys, this is an interactive session. We did not write the book on business planning, gathering information and everything. So we want to make sure that if you guys have something interesting, or something that's really worked, or something that's stunk, to let us know also. But one of the most important things about goal setting is to get super excited. I had a great font. I don't know why it didn't come out on this one, but it was like this really great, like celebratory font that it was supposed to be on when I
That's
just
okay.
took
Our energy enough is all exciting.
yeah, from Canva to here. I kind of went like, woo. So Tony Robbins says one of the only reasons that we don't achieve goals is because we have impotent goals, right? So if you don't have a goal that's really powerful and that's moving you and exciting you and making you smile, spreading a smile across everything, dump it. That's really not a goal. You cannot be like, my goal is to make 100 calls a week and I'm gonna, no, that's never going to get you where you want to be. Your goals have to be something that you are passionate about, that you're excited about, that are going to improve the quality of your life, the quality of the life of those people that you love, the quality of life for those agents that you're working with, whatever your community looks like. Your goals have to, reflect that. And I know you think about this, Barbara, with goal setting as well.
I do. Goal setting is one of my most favorite, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a yearly goal. Sometimes you have to chunk it down. And so you might have a monthly goal, you might have a 6-month goal, a 5-year goal, that's something that Brian Buffini teaches too. You have like a 10-day goal, you have a 10-month goal, and then you have, a 3-year goal. And they're all going to be a little bit different, but your 10-month goal is actually going to help you get to that 3-year goal. So it's kind of like little stepping stones. But when you're writing out your goals, definitely get so very, very excited. Now, some people, I do know this too, some people are better at long-term goals. Some people are better at short-term goals. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why it's important to have short, mid, and long-term goals. Okay. And every single one of them should excite you.
I think it's also really important before you start goal setting to do some kind of thing for yourself that gets you into a really great mindset. Yeah. Tony uses this process called priming. If you just Google Tony Robbins priming, you're going to see like a million YouTube videos. I think I may have put something into the folder on that as well, or I might. There's also a PDF that's floating everywhere in the world about what that 10 minutes looks like. It's about a 10-minute thing. And part of it is a breathing. You go with your arms up and down. So you're really getting oxygen through your whole body. And you're almost like, okay, and my arms are killing me now. I have to keep going because it takes like a bit. It's like a Kundalini yoga, right? Kundalini yoga does a lot of that very same thing where they're doing a lot of upper body movement and breathing. So it's putting a lot of oxygen into the body, and you kind of tingle when you stop. After it's a couple minutes, when you stop, you're kind of tingling because you just pushed a ton of oxygen through your body, which we don't normally do unless we're like running running from away, jogging. And then he has you, and then there's a portion where you think about the things that you're grateful for, 3 things, and times that you're grateful, and go back there. And what were the smells? And like, you really go back to a moment, you find yourself in that moment of gratitude. And then the second one, and then the third one. So it's kind of getting yourself where your heart is open, and maybe you're softer, and maybe you can receive more information. Maybe you can receive more from, a higher power, if you believe that. But when you're in this process, it's really important to take that initial step of doing that. What do you do to kind of get grounded before you start, Barbara?
Yeah, that's it. It is, some people meditate. It is all about the breathing. If you don't have time to meditate, take 3 deep breaths, and then just sit, just be still. And you don't have to do it for 20 minutes. 5 minutes is fine. 10 minutes is fine. Everybody's busy. And I would, if you're new to meditation, I wouldn't recommend that you just sit down for 20 minutes because you're going to be like, oh my God, it's only been 5 minutes.
I can't do it. I failed.
So, but do take time. They say center yourself, right? So, and the best way to center yourself is through breathing. Just take a breath. I'm sure everybody's heard that phrase. Take a breath. So just take a few deep breaths and just kind of quiet yourself. And then and then like Lisa said, get excited about what you want to achieve, because anything you put your mind to, you can do. And, Lisa and I talk about this too. Don't worry about the how. Do not worry about the how. Just look at your why. Why do you want to do something? Because your why drives your how. Once you have it written down, and again, that is uber, uber important. Don't just think about, oh, I'm going to do this. Write it down, pen to paper, not just on the computer, pen to paper. Write it down and review it, but when you write it down and then you're reviewing it, you should feel that excitement in your belly. You should just get so excited about it. And the how comes up. Like all of a sudden you'll see yourself writing notes or making some phone calls. And that wasn't a goal of yours, but it's something that you want to do, and you do it. And next thing you know, you're taking these little baby steps to achieving your goal. And then next year, when we do this again, you look back and we think, and we ask you, what was that magical moment, and you'll be able to have it. So, yeah.
So yeah, and I think that I love what you said about making sure that you whatever works for you, whatever fits for you, but knowing that you're looking at and setting these goals from a place of action and compassion with yourself and openness versus reacting and, well, I didn't, I need this, so I better do that. That kind of contraction is not a good space, at all for goal setting. Hold on. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna, I'm super excited about doing this, and I think we might have time to do this as a short exercise for folks. So I hope everybody go grab a pencil and a piece of paper if you don't already have something there, so we can go to this next part. There's a lot of categories. I mean, I think Brian uses the exact same. Most people have, in general, these 5 categories that you could write goals on, and I think it's important to think about all those when you're working on your year. So you're going to have, of course, business, and business can be different than finance. Absolutely. So those are separated: spiritual, personal, and of course, health. So these, I think these categories are hugely important. Let's just start with these today. And we made a sheet. This is also in the folder. And you guys can take this sheet and obviously, I print it out, use it if you want. If you don't, that's fine as well. But I'm just wondering if we can take a couple minutes now for everyone to get a little bit quiet. This will not be your end one. This is just a start to kind of see what's flowing. And jot down a couple things in each category. We're going to take, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes. Just do 1 or 2 in each category for right now. And I know when I've done this process with other people, sometimes they say, I couldn't even come up with 5 or 4 for every category, but I could come up with like 6 for another category. So that's going to definitely fit. But just think about for a minute, 1 or 2 things just to start your mind thinking in this way. And we will come back, let's say, in 4 minutes. About one more minute, and then we'll wrap up this part for now.
See how fast that goes?
I know. I'll go to, oh, it is 12:33. All right, I'll stop that. So hopefully you got a little flavor, letting your mind go. And of course, if we did this really correctly, it would have taken 10 minutes and done the priming first, which I've definitely done in a live workshop. People go, oh my God, she's lost her mind. But it just gets you into such a beautiful space for sure. But in this process, so you kind of brainstorm that, and then you look at, I just use the word super because I had to come up with something for this thing. Then you look in each one of these categories and identify in each category, what's the one that will have the most impact in that category. So that's why you want to give yourself a couple, sometimes so that you can choose 4 or 5, and then think about, well, which one really would have the most impact on my life and my family and my community, if you want to put the ripples out like that. So if you do that, go ahead. Yeah, please.
I'm just going to jump in here real quick. I know that when I was writing down, because I only wrote down 2 goals for each one. And I know that when I was writing some of these goals, some of them just felt different. Like as I was writing it, I could feel it more in my gut. Like, oh yeah, that one sounds really good. Whereas I might have a few others that aren't as exciting, but I do know which ones are really exciting to me. And so those are the ones I'm going to highlight.
Yeah. And then here's what I think is the magic about this process. Now, out of those ones that you've highlighted, consider one that might be the domino that allows all the other ones to happen. Let me give you an example that was shared with me, and then I've come up with an interesting one for myself. The example that was shared with me was this person had, a lot of business goals, spiritual, personal, but the personal goal was hiking up a huge mountain. It was a real, I don't know, so it wasn't, it was just a real goal. It was like Mount Washington, right? Like here in the Northeast, Mount Washington, hardly anybody ever makes it to the top, and it's like freezing cold and it's a whole thing. So that was his goal. Well, he realized if he made that the central goal, he was going to have to go to the gym more regularly because he had to get himself in shape. If he was going to go to the gym more regularly, he had to get up earlier so that he could fit it into his day. If he was going to get up earlier, he had to go to sleep earlier because he really needed X amount of sleep. If he was going to go to sleep earlier, he couldn't eat all that crap past 8 o'clock at night that he was like falling into half the time. So that one decision ended up hitting, and then that he got up earlier, he was more organized, and this business really improved. They were every single thing connected back to that one goal. So I'll share with you mine, and maybe Barbara has something that's come to her, but one of my personal goals, it's been for a while, and I keep talking about it and I haven't done it really, is that I really want to take a watercolor class. I want to commit to taking a watercolor class. I have bought myself paints and I have bought myself all this stuff, and I sit down to do it and I freeze. And I'm pretty creative in general, right? I literally had to look up I've got a YouTube video on while I'm sitting there going, what is wrong? I can't even paint. I have to have I need to be in a class with people who think about this stuff. That's not the people that I'm surrounded with, right? But I realized if I did that, right, that would make me slow down long enough to do that. That would make me intentionally calendar that kind of creative time in my life that I'm so craving. It would make me shift some other of those daily priorities from things that continue to keep me driving versus being a little bit more relaxed in my life and in my space. It would allow me to share that with my granddaughter Eloise, which is another one of my goals. So that little action would have ripple effects all through all of the other areas of my goals. So the invitation is for you to think about what is one of those goals when you finish this process that will somehow be a domino and affect all the other goals. Can you think of one, Barbara?
As you were talking about it, because this is actually the first time I've heard this analogy of how to do this, and it makes so much sense. So what's coming up for me is I've got a big birthday coming up next year, and it's super, super important for me to have my whole family be able to celebrate that with me. And I I have family, including my property sister, on the East Coast. So I'm trying to make it something that will be affordable for everybody. But I also want to, if it's not affordable for some of my family members, I want to be able to have the money to help them come to my birthday party. So just because that's my personal goal would be to have this amazing, milestone birthday party, but that's also going to affect business and finances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to have to really step it up. And then I was thinking, another one of my goals has always been to have investment property. Well, if I purchase my own investment property and have my birthday party where we own this investment property, I really got to start hustling. What? When they say find your why, that's a huge why for me right now, because this is kind of a big deal for me on this birthday that's coming up, and I want to be able to celebrate it with everybody that I love, and I want them to be there with me. So
that's a really amazing, that's an amazing goal, and an amazing way to look at this, again, because that's giving you your animation. The same with me, with having such a craving to be creative, but just feeling like I need to find a container and a space and a teacher. Yep. I need a teacher. Right. I mean, that's really, that's it. I think that's, what I had to admit for myself. So I hope you guys can get something out of this process. I hope, it's just another way. There's lots of goal setting processes, but it is, I think it's really a nice spin, and it helps you get animated about what that really is. So business planning calendar. This is a brainchild of Barbara's. We have all of this again in the folder. We have a QR code to reach it and a URL. Barbara, I'm gonna let you take this.
Yeah, I love this. So my husband and I went away for the weekend a couple of weekends ago, and he went out fishing with a buddy, and I just, I sat in the cabin, and I filled out this planning calendar, and I had so much fun doing it. So like I said earlier, what can I do to give value back, to my clients? What can I do that's going to help me in my business? But it's still going to be fun. It's going to be something I look forward to. And I did this January through December. So this is just showing you the first quarter. And I think it's important to look at it quarterly too. Now, just because I have this stuff plugged in, I may change it, and you can do that. But if you don't have it planned, then it's not going to get done, right? So we always say, if you don't write down your goals, you're kind of drifting through life. Kind of the same with your planning calendar. So this is giving you an idea of, like I said, I did fill mine out January through December, but I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. So just to kind of give you an idea, this is what I'm looking at for January, February, and I just kind of plugged in a few things in March to kind of give you an idea. The reason to call, when you're calling through your database, it's okay to ask your database, your friends, your family, hey, what are your dreams this year? What are you going to be doing for 2023? You guys taking any vacations? Just kind of have that conversation. Just be a human, right? And just, you want to get to know about your people and make a note of it, right? Somebody's going to go on vacation to the Bahamas in June. Make a note of that. And then you can always write them a note as you're getting closer to June. Hey, how's that trip going? You guys still going or whatever. A pop by gift idea. I'm real big on pop buys. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a big Brian Buffini thing. What you do is you take just a little something and you pop by your client's house or your friend's house, or when you're farming, you do something like that. You pop by with a little gift. Well, there's these really cool. Zig Ziglar has this really cool little quote book. It's a small little something. It can fit in a little bag. You can just leave it on the front doorstep. You order them in bulk. You get 100 for, I don't even know how much. They're not really very expensive. But that's something that you can hand out, and people will hang on to that, right? Mm-hmm. You can put branding on the back of it, have your name and your contact information on the back of it. Video email message. What do I want my video to say? I have all these.
That. Thank you for including that. I love that.
Yeah, all these different little prompts, and it can be on anything, but sell your house the right way. Some of them are real estate related, some of them maybe not so much, but what's your video message? And it's so important, you guys, to just not be scared of the camera and just do some more video. Your clients actually will appreciate that. Client part.
Where are you getting some of those prompts, Barbara? Because some of this, I think people will be wondering, like, where.
So I actually was, Viral Marketing is a company that I used before in the past, and they helped me create some of my videos. And they just sent out an email the other day, and they said, hey, here's some video ideas that you can use, for your database. Feel free to download this calendar. And I did. I took it and I plugged every single one of those into my planning calendar. I'm like, okay, you say it works, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So that's where I got those ideas.
Maybe you could put that list in that folder as well.
Yes,
that'd be great.
I will. That's a great idea. Yeah. Client party date time. I don't know if I'm always going to be doing a client party every single month, but if I don't do it for my clients, maybe I'll do it for my real estate team or, other agents around in the area in the office. A vision board party. We did that one year. We had so much fun.
Love it.
Yeah. It's just getting together and everybody just kind of, doing your vision board. It is so much fun. Let's see, what else do I have? Business mixer, selling globally, with eXp Realty, we have, global real estate. A lot of other companies do as well. So I might just pull together a little webinar, or it might be in person. I haven't quite decided yet, but again, I want to put it down on my calendar. What do you have to do to be able to sell globally? Probably bring in some guest speakers on that, because honestly, I don't know. So I'm going to have to find the people who will help me facilitate that class. B2B, business to business endorsement. Well, it's January. Everybody goes to the gym in January.
At least for 2 weeks.
Exactly. So we've got a great gym, here. And I thought about maybe reaching out to them and seeing if they wanted to do like a little, co-marketing of something. You just do a quick little flyer, maybe an email blast or whatever. But, get to know your businesses in your area, right? And try to, when you give value to them, they give value back to you. It's kind of I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but you kind of do a co-marketing kind of thing.
I love that.
Additional marketing, market stats for Chula Vista is what I put in. You can do market stats for any area. And Russ Lagan, our wonderful friend, Russ Lagan, has just a great little video on how to do market stats. If you guys haven't seen that, I know it's on YouTube. We'll find that link and, we'll send that to you guys too. But it was, it's easy, it's fun, and it makes you look like the professional and the expert that you are in your area. Let's see, personal development, events and training. So my year, I really do have to plan out the conferences that I'm going to, the meetings that I'm going to, the traveling that I'm doing. In January in particular, I'm not going out of town, but I still want to do my own personal development. So what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be learning the 8-point touch program that Don Hobbs has. So Lisa shared that with me a couple of weeks ago, and I really want to learn, what does he do to stay in touch with not just his clients, but also agents, other agents that you're trying to attract into your company. Number of days off and vacation. This is super important, you guys. You've got to take time off. Got to spend time with your family, be present with your family, turn off your phone and just, be present with your family. So I put down 7 days. I think I was pretty good.
Does that include the weekend? I don't know.
I know. They don't have to all be at the same time.
Okay.
And then the reason to text, I just kind of added that in. You'll see like in the second quarter, see where there's a little blank spot down there. I like to have a reason to text my clients too. I have this great app that I use called Reach. It makes it look like the text came from you individually.
You kind of.
Yeah. And then when they respond back individually. It's not a group text. Mm-hmm. So reason to text, Happy New Year. I have everybody in my database in this Reach app. And so I can just do a quick, click, 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 click. It's not a copy and paste. It's click, 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 click. It's really pretty cool. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of my January. You can see what I've got down for February. March, I just kind of threw a couple of things in. I think I think it was our good friend, Peggy Uriff, mentioned something about the Irish Spring soap, for March because of St. Patrick's Day. And what was so funny about that, when my husband and I went away for the weekend, our host had Irish Spring soap in the bathroom. It was so, I've had that forever, and it really does smell pretty good. But
So it's very drying on the skin though. So there is a website, if you guys aren't aware of it, for pop buys. It's called popbuyideas.com. And Peggy Europe is actually also an EXP agent now. And she is known as the queen of pop buys. And we met her, I think, Barbara, you already knew her. I think you'd done a deal with her, or you knew her. I met her when Barbara and I attended the Buffini, one of the Buffini events, the first one in January last year. It wasn't Peak Producers. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, we met her then, and she agreed to do a webinar with us. So we actually have that recorded somewhere. We should put that on our new website. That was a really great video. And she really gives, I mean, this girl, if you look at her website, oh my God, I mean, she has like, she's been doing this for a long time. She's been doing Buffini for a very long time. And so over the years, and of course, no moss on this girl, she has an Amazon link for every single thing that she's suggesting that you do. So God bless, she's probably getting some little spiff off Amazon for everything, but they're awesome. They're great. They're great ideas for the tags, for the pop buys. Just when you think you've seen it all, you go onto Peggy's website and you have not seen it all, because she has some other very unusual thing to do. It's great for ideas. It's really, she's amazing. So I just love this calendar, Barbara. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's seasonal. It could be, holidays, because, when I was going through my planning calendar, I kept thinking, okay, what holiday is coming up this month? And, February, Valentine's Day. And one thing, and I talk about this actually quite often. I did this one year, I think 1 or 2 years, but anyway, when I was going through my area, my farm, I just went to the dollar store and I got a whole bunch of the conversation hearts. I think you got 3 for $1, those little boxes. I just put them in a little bag with some of that shredded, colored paper, whatever, put a little bow around it with my business card. And then we had a little pop by tag that said, let's have a conversation about real estate, and just left that with everybody. When you're doing your pop buys, I recommend that you kind of do it maybe on the weekend. Maybe somebody's out washing their car, or, they're outside playing with the kids, or, whatever. And that way you get to know the people in your neighborhood and you have the conversation with them. And, it just makes it more fun. If they're not home, just leave it on their front doorstep. You take a picture of it. You can send them a text that you just dropped off a little something. If you're doing it for your farm, again, just kind of leave it on the front doorstep and just stay consistent with it. You do it every month. Do a pop by every single month. And it really is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I know you have fun doing it with your daughter. And I'm thinking about like my partners in the Cape, Corrine and Christine. I think we could make it fun, even if we did, even if we didn't do monthly. I mean, we could do monthly. We're in a second home market, so I always kind of use that excuse. So, well, my people aren't here, but some of them are here, so I think that I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater on that. And for me, again, in terms of planning, I know now that most of my business in 22, the majority of it, more than I had imagined, came from that bucket. Right. And so that is a reminder for me to zero back in on this, that thing that I love so much anyway, and to spend, some more time doing that. Absolutely, for sure. And I just want to point out again about the days off and vacation. Everybody who does planning says that's really where you start. Last year to my team, I gave one of those gigantic wall calendars, and they said, even for a visual, even if you don't leave it up, when you're going through this process, spend $12.99, whatever it is, on Amazon, order yourself one, put it up on the wall, and take a marker and put the vacations in there. Put the times that you're going to go away. And then you see visually, like, what does that look like? And then where else can I go? And even if you don't, as I said, even if you don't keep it up there during this planning process, buying one of those year at a glance calendars is a really, really good idea. If you're very visual, if you're quite visual. I couldn't do that on a computer. And I do a lot on the computer, but I could not do it in that way, for sure. Right. So this is great, Barbara. So we have copies of all 4 quarters of this in that folder as well for everybody. So scan this code now, or take a screenshot, write down that link. I have it at the end as well. So I will be putting this up again, but scan if you can now, and we'll be adding more things to that folder. And I'm going to go to that folder in a minute. So we want to just talk about this. Actually, you know what I'll do? Why don't I stop my share and go to that folder for a second?
Okay.
Or not. Hold on. Oh, are we out? Did I stop
Uh,
sharing? It stopped sharing. All right, because I just want to show you what's in that folder for right now. So let me get there. Okay, so right now, let me just share this and then you guys will see what's there right now. So the power of momentum that I mentioned, there's a Tom Ferry business plan. These are always very good, super, super in the weeds. If you want to make 100,000, then what's your tax rate? What's your commission rate? What's your, how many people do you need to speak to? How many, like, you know, and it really back ends many of these business plans completely back end from a number standpoint. That's very good, you know, just to get a sense of that, if that's a tool that's valuable for you. Tom Ferry's is really like that. Then there's some great ones from Buffini. There's some, there's the calendar that we were talking about. The top goals is that sheet that I was telling you about. So all these resources are in there for you to take a look at, and we will continue to add to this folder over the next probably couple weeks. So bookmark it somewhere for yourselves, and share it, use it, share it. We just want everybody to have a great start and a great year, for sure.
And sometimes it's easier to do your business plan with somebody else. You know, talk to your sponsor, talk to your mentor, talk to maybe somebody else in the office, but sometimes it's good to, you know, run things past another person to kind of give you maybe a different perspective, or, you know, hey, have you thought about this, or how can I help you get to where it is that you want to go?
Well, and having an accountability partner in that way, you know, and I think that Barbara and I continue to support each other in that way. And when you share your goals with someone else, you said them out loud.
Yep.
So that's the big step in having them actually start to come true, you know. So I just want to share this. We're very excited about this. It's starting next week. This is starting next Wednesday. It's a 21-day gratitude challenge we're doing on Facebook. There's nothing live. You don't have to worry about showing up to anything, except check in for 21 days if you'd like to the Facebook page. There's the link to the page itself. We will be having, it's just something that we really wanted to do together, to collaborate. It's been a real joy and thrill to be working on this for a couple of weeks now that we've been working on it. We have every day for the 21 days. So it starts on the 9th, which is next Wednesday, and it goes 21 days to the 29th of November, which is also Giving Tuesday. So it's kind of a nice way to wrap it up, and takes you right through Thanksgiving, so we can get through the you know, all of that. Every day there's going to be a shareable, like a little graphic shareable about gratitude. There's going to be a gratitude practice. Give us one of the practices, Barbara. Share one of them that we just love them all so much, but share one.
Oh my gosh, there's so many, and it's so hard for me to pick my favorite, which is why we have to do this for 21 days. But really, there are so many different ways that you can show gratitude, or different ways that you can enhance your life, right? So, you know, of course, we're going to be talking about affirmations. We're going to be talking about, you know, prayer. There's another one called affirmations. It's a little bit different, so we'll be talking about that. I'm going to give you a sneak peek about my happy money. Yay! So I know, just wait for happy money, you guys, because that one, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it will actually have you step outside your comfort zone, that happy money. And it's a way to really enhance somebody else's life. I'm not going to say too much more about it, because I really want you guys to listen in and figure out what's this happy money that Barbara's talking about. There's actually a book on it. So I will tell you that much. That's how I got the idea. But
so we have the shareables every day. We have a gratitude practice, 21 days of gratitude practice, and then we have some journal prompts. You know, one of the things, if you you know, look into gratitude at all, how to increase the gratitude that you have in your life and in your world, for yourself and your family, the thing is always on top of everyone's list is a gratitude journal. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One big one being, of course, that there's a big connection between the pen and the heart and the mind. And so when you actually write down some stuff and journal, you'll find all kinds of things that are starting to come out on the page. And you're like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about that. It's amazing. So we give you prompts. We have some really beautiful prompts that we've curated for 21 days as well. And then we have 3 really amazing interviews with 3 people that inspire us that we'll be releasing once a week. So again, this is not like a live thing. This is just a Facebook group. We are hoping people will also chime in with their stuff. We just started inviting people to it because it didn't really have much on it. So we're adding stuff. getting ready for next week, but we'd love you to join us. We'd love you to join the group. We'd love you to chime in, add your own stuff for sure. There's the QR code, or just look for Gratitude 2022 Gratitude Challenge in Facebook, and it should come right up.
Yeah.
And then here's the QR code if people didn't get it again for the business plan link.
Yeah, and you'll see that, Lisa showed you the files that are in there, but the business plans are all, they all kind of do the same thing, but they're a little bit different. So, open them all up and see which one you kind of like, which one, you feel like you want to fill out. But they do get very, very in depth, and there's a reason behind that, right? So,
and there's a reason that's last, by the way. That
yeah.
piece is last, right? The pragmatic number piece. Many of us might want to go there because it's, pragmatic number piece, but we are really inviting you to do all of this other work first. The getting clear, getting certain, getting excited, and then your goals. And then, again, Tony calls it the tyranny of how. Don't let yourself be bogged down. I notice immediately when I start writing goals, here's what I do. Let me just make that, instead of making it like 12 a year, I'll just make it 8. So I'm successful. I mean, that's like, I watch myself saying that, so just be cautioned, like you will be, you have to see it right away and go, no, I'm just brainstorming now, big goals. I can always readjust it after the first quarter, but really just let yourself, take a quantum leap, as they say in U Squared.
Tom Ferry says, if you watch the Tom Ferry video on goal setting, or not goal setting, I'm sorry, business planning, he'll say, when you write down, okay, I want to close 10 deals next year, double it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't write 10, write 20, and that's going to scare you. You're going to be like, oh, how am I going to do that?
That's okay. Don't worry about how right now. Just put it out there. Just put it out there for sure. So, we hope you guys got some value out of today. It's just about 1 o'clock. We'd love to open it for questions, comments, stuff that worked for you. Please jump in and share. We'd love to hear from you.
One quick question, like on your calendar, there was Starbucks QR code. So for gift cards. So right now you can just like basically text the gift, like get a cup of coffee on me, right? Or something. That's awesome.
We did that too. I'm gonna kind of stress on that one. Be a little bit careful on that one. When you're doing that for your clients, don't just do like a $200 Starbucks gift card and give everybody the QR code, because you may have somebody who's going to spend a lot of money at Starbucks and they have that same QR code. They keep going down. What we did, I think it was last year, is we had everybody take a picture of themselves with their Starbucks and then tag us on Facebook. Thank you. But I only would load like $25 at a time, and then you get notified, when it's going down. And so I would load another $25, and then you can kind of see, dang, that person just spent $20, or whatever. But again, if it's a family of 4, $20 at Starbucks isn't going to, take you very far. But that's a lot of fun, and my clients love it. So we do that, and that's how we love on them for Valentine's Day.
I think you can send just a coffee also. I think there's certainly at this point of the world of QR codes and whatever, I'm quite sure you could purchase, $5 or something like that, to send by a QR code.
Yeah, I wanted to be kind of careful about that, where I was just sending a bunch of, like $5 or $10 gift cards, because that can get kind of expensive. So I had a certain budget that I wanted to spend, and then they had a limited time to use that QR code, because I could turn it off at any time. So it was like, happy Valentine's Day. We love you. You have like 24 hours to use this QR code or to get your coffee.
Mm-hmm. And from a budget standpoint, when you're looking at all of that and you're going through the nuts and bolts of the planning that we did not do, because that's really what was not what we were doing today, but they're going to have you tie a number, what's your marketing budget for the year? Well, then what is that broken down into 12 months? So per month you have X.
Yep.
So maybe you can't do the coffee one every month. You have to really filter, make sure that you pull that all in. That wasn't today's purpose, but we've given you lots of resources to really, and most of those resources, by the way, I think are fillable. They're fillable PDFs. Mm-hmm. So you'll be able to put your numbers in If you do any kind of a pop-by gift, that's a book, any kind of a book, small, large, whatever, write an inscription on the inside of it.
Mhm.
Date it and write a little quick note and sign it. That will go a really long way. Every time someone picks up that book, yes, they might have your sticker on the back and, but really that you took the time and you wrote in that book, and then it's sitting out with that nice, inscription. So I just want to mention that, something that Don Hobbs actually taught me, that because I've sent books like from Amazon, and you can kind of put a gift card, but the ones that you deliver in person, you
Yeah.
need to write an inscription on.
Great idea.
Yeah. I guess we will say it's a wrap. It's been great. I hope you guys got some value. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Let us know. Let us hear from you. You're welcome, Louise Knight. So good to hear from you. I'm so glad you could stay. It was nice to see everybody.
Great. Thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it.